Thank you so much for joining me today for our exploration of classic literature. The book we're diving into is a big one, Hermann Hesse's monumental novel, Narcissus and Goldmund. It's this incredible story about friendship, about two totally opposite ways of living, and ultimately about the search for a complete soul. But here's the thing, to really get what this book is all about, we're not going to start at the beginning. No, we're going to jump right to the very end.
So picture this. Decades, literally decades have gone by. A man named Goldmund, now old, sick, and just worn out from a lifetime of wandering, has finally come back to the monastery where his whole journey started. And who's there to take care of him? His oldest friend, Narcissus, who is now the revered abbot of that very monastery. I mean, these two couldn't have lived more different lives, but that bond between them, it's still there, completely unbroken. And as Goldmund is lying on his deathbed, he speaks his very last words.
But Narcissus, how can you die? You have no mother. One cannot love without a mother, one cannot die without a mother. Just let that sink in for a second. These are Goldmund's final words. They're cryptic, they're profound, and for Narcissus, a man who dedicated his entire life to the spirit, to the intellect, they are deeply unsettling. What could he possibly mean by that? That love and even death itself are impossible without this concept of a mother? It's a statement that just completely upends everything Narcissus has ever believed.
So you have to ask, right? What kind of a journey, what kind of life could possibly lead a person to arrive at this one singular, powerful truth right at the moment of their death? Well, to answer that, we've got to rewind. We need to go all the way back to the beginning, back to the halls of the Mariabraun Monastery, where these two souls first met as just boys. So let's go back, way back to medieval Germany. In this monastery, we meet a brilliant young novice monk named Narcissus. And into his life walks a new student, Goldmund, this sensitive, artistic kid sent there by his father, supposedly to atone for his mother's sins. Even though one's a teacher and one's a student, they're really close in age, and bam, this immediate, powerful connection just forms between them. It's almost like they're two halves of the same soul, each instinctively drawn to what the other one has. And this, right here, captures their dynamic perfectly. Narcissus is the total embodiment of the Apollonian, the world of the mind. He's all about logic, order, and finding God through pure intellect. You could call his life the father's world. Goldmund, though, he's the complete opposite. He's Dionysian, all emotion, nature, art, and raw senses. He isn't looking for God in a book. He's looking for God in the messy, beautiful experience of life itself. He represents the mother's world. They couldn't be more different, and yet they each see in the other a missing piece of themselves. And this leads to such a pivotal moment. Goldmund, he really tries to be like Narcissus. He tries to follow the path of a monk. But Narcissus, with his incredible intellect and insight, sees right through it. He sees Goldmund's true soul. He knows, deep down, that Goldmund is not meant for a life of quiet contemplation. His destiny's out there, in the world, in the realm of the senses. So in this unbelievable act of friendship and true understanding, Narcissus doesn't try to keep him there, he actually pushes him away, telling him he has to leave the monastery walls and go find out who he's really meant to be. And just like that, Goldmund's epic journey begins. For years and years, he just wanders the earth, living a life that is completely free of rules, free of dogma. He throws himself into the world, embracing all of its beauty and, yes, all of its horror. He's on a quest to understand life not by thinking about it, but by living it to the absolute fullest. Goldmund's path is a total whirlwind. First, there's this incredible awakening to his senses. Love, pleasure, the pain of heartbreak. Then, as a wanderer, he learns what it's like to be truly hungry, to face real violence. But all this raw experience, it leads him to art. He learns to take the chaos of his life and channel it into sculpture. And then, the Black Death hits. He has to witness horror on a massive scale, forcing him to confront mortality in a way most of us never will. His whole journey seems to come to a head when he's sentenced to death, only to be saved in this dramatic, last-minute reunion with Narcissus, who's now the abbot. Every single step is a brutal, beautiful lesson in what it means to be human.
So after all that wandering, all that living, what's the real theme here? It's all about unifying this great duality. See, this novel isn't just a story about two buddies. It's this deep philosophical exploration of the two fundamental forces that exist inside every single one of us, the mind and the body, the spirit and the senses.
First up, you have the world that Narcissus has completely mastered, the father's world. This is the realm of logos. It's all about logic, intellect, order. Think of it as the world of abstract thought, of trying to find perfection by rising above the messy, physical reality of life. It's a world built on structure, discipline, and pure, clean reason. And then, in stark contrast, you have Goldmund's world, the mother's world. This is the realm of Eros, of love, emotion, nature, and art. It's chaotic, it's primal, and it is so deeply connected to the body and the earth. This is a world you can't understand by reading a book. You can only get it by living, by loving, by suffering, and by creating. It's the world of birth and, as Goldmund ultimately teaches us, the world of death.
This duality is so central to the book that for a long time in Korea, the novel wasn't even called Narcissus and Goldmund. It was published under the title Jiwa Sarang, which translates to knowledge and love. And honestly, that just perfectly nails the central conflict. Narcissus is knowledge, Goldmund is love. It's about two completely different paths to understanding what it means to exist.
So the big question is, how do these two worlds ever connect? Well, for Goldmund, the answer is art. Art is the bridge. Just like the quote says, art takes these raw, fleeting experiences of the physical world, the mother's world, and it transforms them into something timeless, something spiritual. It takes an image that lives in the artist's soul and gives it physical form. Through his sculptures, Goldmund makes the mortal immortal. He unites the body and the spirit right there in his work. Now, you really can't talk about this novel without talking about Hermann Hesse himself. He actually called this book an autobiography of the soul. And that's because the massive conflict between Narcissus and Goldmund, well, that was the central conflict of his own life. Looking at this timeline of Hesse's life is so revealing. He was born into this world of extreme spiritual discipline, basically the world of Narcissus. But as a teenager, his artistic, rebellious nature, his inner Goldmund, just completely erupted. He ran away from his seminary, he was even institutionalized. This internal war was just tearing him apart, and it led to severe depression. Then, in 1916, everything changed. He began Jungian psychoanalysis. And Jung's ideas about integrating the opposing parts of your own psyche gave Hesse a language, a framework, to finally understand his own divided soul. Narcissus and Goldmund is really the beautiful artistic result of that intensely personal journey. So, what's the ultimate message here? It isn't that Goldmund's path of love is better than Narcissus's path of knowledge, or vice versa. Not at all. The real tragedy is that they had to live them separately. Wholeness, Hesse is telling us, isn't found by picking a side. It's found in the integration of both. Narcissus, for all his wisdom, finally realizes at the end that he can't truly understand life or death without the love and experience that Goldmund represents. And Goldmund, for all his adventures, needed Narcissus's clarity to set him on his path in the first place and to give his chaotic life some meaning. They are, and always were, two halves of one complete human being. And that kind of brings us to a final thought, doesn't it? The real power of this book is that it forces us to look inward. Are you more of a Narcissus, living in the world of ideas and logic? Or are you more of a Goldmund, driven by passion and experience? And maybe the more important question is, how do you build a bridge between those two sides in your own life? The book doesn't give you any easy answers, but it frames the one question that all of us, sooner or later, have to face. Along with Beneath the Wheel and Damien, Narcissus and Goldmund offers another powerful framework for Hermann Hesse's exploration of growth. If any of this has sparked your interest, I highly recommend his absolute masterpiece, The Glass Bead Game. I'll be back with another enlightening classic next time. Until then, farewell.